By now it has become clear that Judge Roy Moore, a judge he wouldn't let settle disputes on one of those televised judge shows, isn't really running for the U.S. Senate in Alabama. No, Moore is the latest guy in this country running for mayor of Stupidville. Moore has been accused, in lights, in the Washington Post, of molesting a 14-year-old girl back in the 1970s, and now he wants to be the victim here, of an attack he suggests has been organized by the media and the devil Democrats and everybody, apparently, except Russian hackers. But the hack here is Moore, now trying with almost flop sweat desperation to hold on to his pathetic political career. Somebody should point out to this pious spindlestiff that blaming his problems on this story in the Post would have been like one of those horny ministers in the old days blaming their problems on motels after they got caught with their pants down. At this point you would want to tell Judge Roy Moore, captain of virtue like some of his virtuous defenders in the bullhorn media who scream about the presumption of innocence as if this thing is a case being heard in one of Moore's courtrooms, to go back to the good book and find passages about lying, in front of God, man and especially underage girls. Those defending Moore are just hiding behind the presumption of innocence. They have already decided that he is innocent. It means they have further decided that the women of the Washington Post, 3 fine reporters, and the alleged victims or the liars here. Where's Fraser Getty Images? By the way, if you have not read the reporting on Moore in the Post, you should take some time to read it, and the accounts of the women who have stepped forward, and the volume of sourcing. Then decide for yourself if Moore deserves anything except a good beating, and not just at the ballot box in Alabama on December 12th. I've been investigated more than any other person in this country, Moore says. It is just more ridiculous fabulism from this ridiculous man, whom some Democrats must wish will win this election in December, so he can become one of the faces of a Republican Party filled with so many phonies who have long since abandoned their principles in their own flop sweat desperation to hold on to power. Moore has said that the journalism of the Washington Post is just fake news, one of the rallying cries in all precincts of Stupidville. If that is the case, then he ought to sue the Post and sue these women for defaming him this way in the public square. The problem with that, of course, is that the thorny issue of disclosure comes into play for Roy Moore, unless you think the women who came forward in the Post are the only ones. He wants us to act suspicious that these women have picked this moment to come forward, years after the fact. So do some of his slow-thinking political defenders in Alabama, the ones who wave the Bible themselves and even cite the age difference between Joseph and Mary, skipping over the concept of immaculate conception as if it's a speed bump. These are the latest from public life to treat the Bible like a buffet table, only focusing on the verses they like, or use. Marvin Gentryeuters. But then here is what Moore once said when the Supreme Court legalized gay marriage in America, as he said the decision was worse than Dred Scott in 1857. The United States Supreme Court did rule that black people were property. Of course that contradicted the Constitution, and it took a civil war to overturn it. But this ruling is even worse in a sense because it forces not only people to recognize marriage other than the institution ordained of God. Guys like Moore always talk about God more frequently when in trouble. But he has somehow managed to convince enough suckers in his state and in the media, at least for now, of his own victimization. But it is one thing to be played by slobs we have already sent to Washington, not ones who have convinced themselves they're on the way. Moore is the one here who clearly thinks he is on a mission from God, to bring his cockeyed theories about almost everything to Washington. The truth, as foreign a concept as that is with him, is vetted now more than ever because he is running for the Senate. He deludes himself that because his own demons come for him now out of his own creepy past they somehow don't matter. He should talk to victims of abuse in the Catholic Church, so many of them paralyzed by pain and fear, and ask them why they didn't come forward sooner to talk about the priests who molested them when they were children. The people in Alabama who still stand by Moore really don't want to act as if it is the media who is the enemy, or Democrats. The truth is they've already met the enemy down there, the way those teenage girls did, a long time ago.